Well, hello there, First in Calvary. This is your senior pastor and head of staff, Don Everts, inviting you into my office again. And I thought I would have you come into the office here in June because we are halfway through the year. And I thought, well, why don't we pull out our vision document for 2022, since it's halfway through the year, and do kind of a mid-year report on kind of how are we doing. So you may recall this is our vision for 2022. We handed these out late last year, again early this year. Again, we want to boldly pursue growth by engaging in 1,000 spiritual conversations. We're also praying for 22 adult baptisms because it's the year 2022. But the big thing for this year is, Father, help us engage in 1,000 spiritual conversations. We want to be talking about our faith and see what kind of growth that creates for us. So how are we doing? And how's that going? And what are we seeing? So again, if you open this up, you'll recall there's a section in here where we talk about how we want to plant wisely and how we want to water abundantly and then pray fervently. So how are we doing at planting? I'm just going to walk through this bullet list. You can find this in your own one of these that I know you have at home on your fridge. So we want to plant wisely. So here's things we said. We think these will be wise seeds to cast. We wanted to commit to 4 seasons of discipleship growth. And so we're using base discipleship. And we had base discipleship for Lent this year. We are now currently in the process of doing it for the summer. We're doing this little summer discipleship lab, and we have a little kind of weekly mini base discipleship plan on the back every week based on the passage we're studying. So that's 2. And then we're going to do one for the fall and then one for Advent, just like we did when I first arrived here. So we're engaging in discipleship conversations, 4 seasons where we're more intense about it. The second bullet was we want to get equipped for gracious spiritual conversations. So you'll remember the conversation curve. We did a whole sermon series on it. I've also heard from a number of our Sunday school classes that they went and did more in-depth study on the curve. The youth of our church have been studying the spiritual conversation curve. So we've got a simple model to help equip people to engage and meet people where they are in spiritual conversations. So we've been leaning into that. Our third bullet for planting wisely was to host 2 alpha courses for people who are spiritually curious or seeking. You'll recall from earlier communications, we decided to punt on the spring one. It felt like it was too fast. We didn't have time to really do some really healthy inviting. And so we postponed that, and we've got the one coming this fall. Wendy Everts, our new minister of outreach, is kind of heading up leadership of that. You've obviously been seeing the red question mark or the red background with the white question mark. That's Alpha's logo. Again, we're getting ready to have an extraordinary Alpha course this fall. Number 4, we wanted to build new bridges to international students, young moms, and people in the arts. Again, our new minister of outreach, Wendy, has been leading us in these areas. For international students, that's just happening. We have international students walking into the doors of our church. It's extraordinary. Elizabeth Strong and the whole campus ministry committee have been doing a great job. We're having more events now. We just last week hosted a dinner at our house where we had authentic Yucatecan tacos. And it was like a United Nations eating tacos in our dining room. And then we had spiritual conversations afterwards where they all got to ask the pastor a question. It was really cool. Young moms. So Wendy's in the process of organizing and registering a MOPS group right here at First in Calvary. MOPS stands for Mothers of Preschoolers. It's a great national program, and we're going to have a local chapter hosted right here at First in Calvary, and already some of our young moms are getting involved to help lead that. And then we wanted to build bridges to people in the arts. So one way we're doing that is by expanding our scholars program. We have now offered these scholars scholarships, a 9-month school year scholarship to 10 local students in the arts. So we've had 4 choral ones in the past. Now we have 10, and some of them are choral scholars. We have some visual arts scholars, journalism scholars, graphic design scholars, et cetera. It's really theater scholars. So that's one way we're investing in building new bridges to people in the arts. And then the final bullet here on how we want to plant wisely is we wanted to launch in 2022 a new conversation-friendly communion service. And we did that, and we call it the early service. And it has been a great experience. We're going to keep rolling with it as we go along. I'll just tell you personal insight, that 45-minute service where we do a little hearing of God's word, we do some responding to God's word, and then we do communing with God through communion and worship. About once every early service, I tear up. And there's something about that gentle early service where we have conversations, where we have communion every week, that just, it's getting me. So that's what we've been doing to plant wisely. Now, how about water abundantly? This is some stuff that we have ongoing and upcoming. One is we want to pledge and give generously, and pledging and giving has been generous this year. And I want to thank all of you. We look at those numbers, they matter. Your generosity is making all the things I just talked about possible. Secondly, we wanted to invite widely to worship and invite widely to Alpha. Inviting to worship is going great. I've heard story after story of people who say, yeah, a friend reached out to me and said, hey, you should come to First and Calvary and check it out. And people are coming. So thank you for the ways you're taking risks to be inviting people to worship. Inviting widely to Alpha, that's coming up. So again, be praying about who it is God may want you to reach out to invite to come to Alpha, which is this introduction to the core of the Christian faith. Thirdly, a way that we could water abundantly to help these seeds grow is by volunteering for Alpha and our new outreach programs. Check out the gift exchange board. Wendy has a number of programs, as I mentioned, and she needs volunteers for those. And so you can contact Wendy directly or go check out the gift exchange board. And then fourthly, the fourth way we wanted to water abundantly was by supporting new staff brought on to focus on families, outreach, and care ministry. And we brought on Reverend Cooper McWhirter to help with care ministry. He's been incredible. Thank you for the way you've received him. He's using his gifts in powerful ways. It's wonderful. We brought on Wendy, again, perfect fit for that role, as it turns out. And people are receiving her well, and she's using her gifts in that area. And then finally, Jamie Swope, our new minister, or our new associate minister, who will be joining us full-time sometime in August to focus on families. Again, your generous giving makes it possible for us to do those three hires, and the way that you're embracing them and welcoming them into the church and caring for their families, huge, huge, huge thing. So we've been planting wisely, we've been watering abundantly, and we're going to keep on praying. We're going to keep praying, folks. We want to pray for 1,000 spiritual conversations, and we want to pray for 22 adult baptisms. I have a meeting in about 30 minutes with a young couple who are new to the faith. They're just exploring Christianity. And they said, Don, we'd like to talk to you about baptism. So I'm really excited about that meeting. But that just happens because the Spirit moves. So let's be praying about these things. Let's be on our knees as we go forward in all this stuff. I've been here about 10 months now. Can you believe that? So in sight is my 1-year anniversary here for me and Wendy and Mom and Victor. I want to thank you all for how you've welcomed us and how you've let us use our gifts in helping lead this congregation. So that's it. 2022 is almost half in the books. We're pursuing our vision. We want lots of talking about our faith, and we're praying for more baptisms. It's a joy to be on the journey with you, and I pray that God blesses you and keeps you cool here in the heat of the summer. Thanks.